Welcome back. Here's a quick recap. Vice Commander Tarion ordered the group, get in line if you're ready, we're going to brief you for a bit before we leave. We have 2 objectives. 1. Take down the ice trolls. 2. Patrol the areas between Mount Sterling and the Northern Sea. Our goal is to ensure no one gets hurt. The soldiers nodded, their expressions firm with determination, fully aware of the mission's importance in protecting both the people and the region. While Wrath's face remained unreadable, the silence was broken when Raon spoke up, his tone light-hearted. What, you're looking really serious right now. Wrath's gaze slowly shifted to the mountains, his eyes narrowing as he focused on the distant peaks. He could feel it, a faint energy emanating from the mountain, that energy. It's not strong, but I can sense it. His thoughts deepened, speculation creeping in. Could it be him? His expression hardened, intensity creeping into his stare. Raon, noticing the shift, questioned Wrath's serious demeanor. Without elaborating, Wrath simply muttered, "It's nothing." Vice Commander Tarion's voice cut through the moment as he gave the order, "Let's go." With that, the group began their journey toward their destination. If you're new here or need a refresher, I highly recommend checking out the previous parts before diving into this exciting chapter. Now that we're all caught up, before we start this new chapter, I want to give a huge thanks to Manga Gaming for the super thanks. Let's dive into this new chapter. The soldiers' call-out echoed through the air as they handed over their bags to Raon's scouting team. "Hey scouts, take over the bags before you depart." The soldier's warning was stern. "Be prepared to get it good if you lose even one of them." Another soldier chimed in with a smirk. "Yeah, treat them as you would treat your lovers." The comment was followed by a jab. "Oh, maybe you don't know what that's like since you've never had one before." As the soldiers departed, Raon called out to Raiden, "Captain Raiden, why is the snow attack squad asking the scouts to take their bags?" Raiden's expression turned serious, and he turned towards Raon with a hint of concern. "Oh, it's your first mission with them, right?" Raiden's gaze drifted towards the snow attack squad as he continued. "They say they need to conserve their strength for combat since they're the main fighters." His tone was matter-of-fact, but a hint of frustration crept in as he added, "Ever since those guys got assigned here, it's been like this every time. It's frustrating, but we've got no choice," he said, his voice low. "As scouts, with no authority and less strength, we just have to suck it up and do what they say." Raon's expression turned somber, and he fell silent, absorbing Raiden's words. Raiden's words painted a picture of their past experiences. "Still, this is better than last time. Last time, even after the battle ended, they made us carry all the gear back. They even dumped the entire post-mission cleanup on us." His tone was tinged with bitterness. Meanwhile, a stark contrast unfolded on the other side, where Dorian's scouts surrounded him, lavishing praise. One scout exclaimed, "Oh, how did it all fit into that bag?" Dorian's face lit up with joy as he declared, "Leave all your gear with me." Raiden's expression was etched with concern as he turned to Raon, his voice laced with a mix of empathy and warning. "It's unfair, but try not to let it get to you too much," he advised, his words genuine. "It'll be easier on you that way." With a solemn tone, he added, "Here, strength and rank are absolute." Raon's thoughts simmered with sadness as he processed Raiden's words. "It's so absurd," he thought to himself. As he reflected on the scouts' duties, his internal monologue continued. "While they prepare for combat, we're the ones risking our necks scouting ahead." His mind seethed with injustice. To scout means we're the first to encounter traps or enemies, and yet we're the ones being mistreated. Raon's question hung in the air, laced with a hint of disappointment. "I thought there would be strong camaraderie on the front lines, but apparently not." Raiden's response was tinged with a mix of resignation and frustration as he placed his hand on his head. "Not with the snow attack squad, at least." Raiden's gaze shifted towards the captain of the snow attack squad, his expression disapproving. "All of this seems to be led by their leader, Captain Ediquil," he said, his tone laced with disdain. "That guy actually thinks this whole situation is normal." Raon's eyes followed Raiden's gaze, and as he laid eyes on Captain Ediquil, he thought to himself, "So that's Ediquil, and all these toxic traditions revolve around him." Raon's internal monologue took a determined turn. "Then we just have to crush that guy." As they arrived at their destination, Vice Captain Tarion halted in step. Vice Captain Tarion's face was etched with surprise as he asked, "What's going on?" Tarion's gaze swept across the surroundings, his expression puzzled. "There aren't any ice trolls, contrary to the report," he said, his voice laced with confusion and a hint of concern. Raiden's response was immediate, his words tumbling out in a panicked tone. "This can't be right." Tarion's eyes locked onto Raiden, his expression inquiring. "Raiden, are you sure about what you saw?" he asked, seeking clarification. Raiden's response was laced with worry. Yes, I'm sure. I saw 13 ice trolls gathered on the forest outskirts. His tone conveyed a sense of certainty, but also a growing unease, as if he was starting to doubt his own observations in light of the current situation. Captain Ediquil's voice cut in, his tone condescending. This is why I said scouts units shouldn't go alone. At least one swordsman should accompany every scouting mission. Raiden's worry deepened, his words tumbling out in protest. But I definitely saw them. His eyes seemed to plead for someone to believe him, as if his credibility was being questioned. Tyrion's voice cut through the tension, decisive and commanding. Let's talk later, everyone. Spread out and search for troll tracks. Expand your senses to the limit and scour the area. The group's response was immediate and unified, their voices ringing out in unison. Yes, sir. Raon's eyes widened in amazement as he watched the soldiers spring into action, their movements swift and disciplined. He stood frozen for a moment, seemingly stunned by the sudden change in pace. Raon's internal monologue continued, his thoughts racing with concern. It's been hours, but we haven't found a single trace. These people have lived here a long time and are skilled. Even if ice trolls leave fewer tracks than usual, they shouldn't leave absolutely nothing. His mind began to wander to alternative explanations. Could there be someone else behind this again? A sense of unease crept in. This won't do, at this rate. Raon's eyes met Tyrion's as he spoke up. Deputy Commander, may I try looking? Tyrion's response was tinged with surprise. You? Raon nodded, his expression determined. Yes, I just want to confirm something briefly. Ediquil's voice cut in, dismissive and condescending. Hey, don't stick your nose into this. Just go help set up camp or something. The sun's almost down already. Do you want to embarrass yourself like those guys? His tone was mocking, clearly implying that Raon wasn't capable of contributing to the search. But before Ediquil could further undermine Raon, Tyrion intervened, his voice firm but measured. That's enough, Ediquil, let him try, just this once. As Raon began to track down the tracks of trolls, Ediquil's voice dripped with disdain as he spoke to Tyrion. Deputy Commander, are you seriously trusting that clueless brat? He's just wasting everyone's time. Ediquil's tone conveyed a mix of frustration and incredulity, as if he couldn't believe Tyrion would give Raon a chance. Raon's eyes fluttered closed, and he took a deep breath. Focusing on activating the Glacia technique, as he did, his senses seemed to expand, allowing him to connect with the surrounding environment on a deeper level. Ediquil's voice carried over from a distance, laced with disdain and impatience. What are you staring at? If you can't do it, don't waste our time, get up and go. His words were clearly meant to undermine Raon's efforts and belittle him in front of the others. Raon's eyes snapped open, and he exclaimed, I found them. Ediquil's expression shifted from skepticism to surprise, and he took a step forward, his voice incredulous. What? The sudden change in Raon's demeanor had caught Ediquil off guard, and for a moment, his dismissive attitude faltered, replaced by a glimmer of curiosity and perhaps even a hint of surprise. Still in a crouched position, Raon's words dropped like a bombshell. They're near the frozen valley northeast of Mount Sterlin. The soldiers' faces reflected their shock, their eyes widening in unison as they exchanged disbelieving glances. Ediquil's face reddened with frustration and anger as he shouted at Raon, You brat, do you think this mission is some kind of joke? Are you telling me you pinpointed their exact location? His voice echoed through the area, the words laced with venom and incredulity. Raon nodded in agreement, his voice steady. Yes, I'm sure. Is there a problem? Ediquil's face twisted in anger, his teeth gritted. As he began to shout, Do you think it's funny to mess around in this kind of situation? Can you take responsibility for your words? Raon's calm demeanor was unwavering. I'm not foolish enough to joke around under these circumstances. Just as Ediquil's anger seemed to be escalating, Tyrion intervened, his voice a calming presence. Ediquil, calm down, you're getting too emotional. Tyrion turned towards Raon, his expression curious. How exactly did you find the trolls? Raon explained. I used a method I learned from someone who moves through forests and mountains like it's his own backyard by expanding my energy detection. Ediquil's voice trembled with incredulity. Energy detection? Do you realize how far it is to the frozen valley? You can't possibly confirm that with just that. His tone was laced with skepticism, as if Raon's claim was absurd. Ediquil turned to Tyrion, seeking validation for his doubts. Tyrion, did you hear that? Do you really believe what he said? Tyrion's gaze lingered on Raon, his thoughts a mixture of skepticism and fascination. He thought to himself, he's right, given the distance, relying on energy detection alone isn't convincing, especially for a rookie who's barely seen a year of field duty. Yet, as he looked into Raon's eyes, something about their piercing intensity stayed his doubts. Tyrion's pause was momentary, but it spoke volumes. Those red eyes seemed to hold a depth, a conviction that was hard to ignore. Tyrion's inner thoughts continued. Besides, there's only one person in Zieghardt who's known for moving through the forests and mountains like home. A name flashed in his mind, brilliant sword Limer Diaz. If he learned from that man, then perhaps he is trustworthy. Beto's voice chimed in from behind Raon. Now that I've heard more, I'm interested too. Raon slowly turned to look at the newcomer, his gaze meeting Beto's with a calm, inquiring expression. Beto, the mercenary captain, flashed a smile as he asked Raon, "How long will it take to get there?" Raon paused for a moment, calculating the distance and terrain, before responding, 30 minutes to reach the target, and maybe 10 more to find an advantageous position. Beto's thoughts were a mixture of surprise and admiration, so he's already figured out where to ambush them. He turned to Tyrion, his voice filled with a sense of urgency and excitement. "Deputy Commander, we have 2 hours until sundown. It seems we have enough time. How about we go check it out?" Edequil's eyes widened in shock as he stared at Beto, his expression a mix of incredulity and alarm. Edequil's frustration boiled over as he shouted, "Beto, not you too. Did that rookie bribe all of you or something?" His words hung in the air, laced with desperation and anger. Beto and Tyrion turned to face Edequil, their expressions a mix of surprise and amusement. Without minding Edequil, Tyrion's voice cut through the tension. "Prepare to move. We're climbing Mount Sterling." Edequil's eyes widened in shock as he spluttered, "Deputy Commander." His words trailed off, unable to form a coherent protest in the face of Tyrion's decisive order. Tyrion's voice was firm and resolute. "If night falls, monsters might attack. It'll be even more dangerous. If what Raon said is true, this is our chance to prevent that danger in advance." Edequil's face twisted in anger, his teeth gritted in frustration, as he struggled to contain his discontent. Slowly, Raon walked towards Edequil, his voice calm and measured as he spoke from behind, still not convinced. "Ha!" Edequil turned to face Raon, his expression a mixture of anger and skepticism. Face to face with Edequil, Raon spoke with a serious tone. "Then how about this? Let's make a bet, so we can accept the outcome without takebacks." Edequil's eyes widened in surprise as he asked, "A bet? What kind of bet?" His tone was cautious, but a spark of curiosity had been lit, and he seemed intrigued by the prospect of a wager. Raon's eyes gleamed with a hint of challenge as he explained, "If I find the trolls, then from now on, the snow attack squad will speak respectfully to the scouts team. Also, you'll carry not just the gear you dump on us, but also our gear and help with our chores." Edequil's face twisted in consideration, his eyes narrowing as he asked with a skeptical tone, "And if you're wrong?" Raon slowly raised his hand to his chest, a confident smile spreading across his face as he replied, "Then I'll do whatever you want." His words were laced with a sense of assurance, as if he was utterly certain of his own abilities. Edequil turned away, walking off with a swagger in his step, his voice dripping with arrogance as he spoke over his shoulder. "Fine, I accept your bet. You'd better be ready for your loss. You won't be running your mouth again after this." The words were laced with a mixture of confidence and menace. Suddenly, Tyrion turned towards the group, his voice firm and commanding as he ordered, "All right then, let's move out to the frozen valley." The group sprang into action, their movements swift and precise. As they move, unaware of the unseen observer watching their every move, a figure, clad in black, stood motionless in the distance, his eyes fixed intently on the group as they walked towards their destination. The black-hooded figure's voice was edged with frustration as he muttered under his breath, "Why are they climbing up?" Though barely audible, the tone carried an unmistakable mix of annoyance and concern. The black-hooded figure's frustration deepened as he continued to mutter to himself, "This wasn't part of the plan." His eyes narrowed, and he crouched down, his movements fluid and deliberate. From his new vantage point, he watched the group's every move, his gaze darting between them as they climbed upwards. His voice was low and venomous as he growled to himself, "Those bastards are deliberately circling around to where it's easy to ambush the ice trolls. They clearly know exactly where the trolls are." His glare darkened, suspicion tightening in his chest as he watched their movements unfold. He thought, "But I erased all the troll tracks. How did they know the trolls were hidden in the valley?" He gritted his teeth. In a blizzard like this, even a scout who's lived here their whole life wouldn't be able to find them. At this rate, they'll run into the ice trolls sooner than expected. That would be a problem. I need to delay them longer so my plan can be completed. But it's too late to move the trolls now. What do I do? After placing his hand on his chin, he thought for a moment. With a smirk, he spoke, "Wait. A sly grin spread across his face as he recalled his control over the ice trolls, a plan beginning to form in his mind. Yes, this could work perfectly, he thought, his eyes gleaming with malevolent intent. Friends, this chapter comes to an end. To everyone watching, thank you for joining us on this adventure. If you're excited to see what happens next, let me know in the comments, ask for more chapters, and I'll keep them coming. If you'd like to support the channel and be part of our family, consider joining as a member. Don't forget to like and subscribe to help grow this community. Until next time, stay tuned.